We're recording. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the Child Nutrition Program monthly webinar. Today's October 16th, and we're happy to have you. If you're interested in using the chat, go ahead. We have just a few things for you today, so we'll get on with it. I actually put a question in the chat. It has this is outside child nutrition. What's your favorite Halloween candy? And with that, let's go ahead. Here's our agenda. We're celebrating Farm to School Month. We have some CMP important dates, and then we're going to do our town hall time right up front. It's the importance of taste testing and also the ISNA Fall Expo. We'll have a virtual farm tour hear from Dina Benson from Dairy West, talk about verification, direct certification, smart snacks, Farm to School Month, have some reminders. Kat will tell us about USDA foods, and then we'll talk about professional standards. Marianne will lead us in summer food program, and then we'll close it out. So with that, let's CMP important dates. Marianne is going to tell us about that. Marianne, go ahead.
Thanks, Pamela. Good morning, everyone. Side note, I am happy to be back in the office. So just FYI to our program sponsors for SFSP or any sponsors, any SFAs who would like more information about our summer food program, I am back in the office, so please feel free to reach out. This first slide, we wanted to provide, the state agency met earlier this week, and we really just discussed some of the ways that we can provide a more consistent support for our program operators. So moving forward, we will provide this slide at every webinar, the beginning of the webinar, to just provide reminders to all of our sponsors. So as you plan out for your school year, please be sure to be mindful of various important dates coming up to ensure that you have a chance to prioritize your task. So for example, if you are up for an administrative review for NSLP, when the USDA catalog, foods catalog enrollment is open. I'm already thinking about SFSP trainings for both online and in person early spring of 2025. And of course, if you are also operating the CACFP program, any of those online trainings, both online and in person, we want to make sure that we are mindful of when these trainings and other important dates are scheduled. And so we really try to provide a transparency within our department to, just talk with each other on what dates are coming up, what important dates are coming up. However, there are times when constraints occur and important events are scheduled near each other. So we really look to you as our program operators to plan accordingly. We received some feedback earlier this year that there were some trainings that were close to when the catalog enrollment needed to be completed, and we've tried really hard to provide these the dates and the reasoning behind these trainings early in advance so that you as our program operators can schedule them in advance and plan accordingly. So please just be mindful of that as we move into this school year and as we release more important dates for the rest of the programs within CMP. As always, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our department. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Pamela.
Thanks, Marianne. And so next, we're going to have our town hall time, and Teresa Bellion is going to lead us in that. Teresa, are you on?
I am on, thank you.
Good morning.
Good
Thanks.
morning, everybody. I just wanted to go over some key benefits of attending the food show that ISNA puts on each year, each fall. Some of the key benefits that I feel are important is trend awareness and inspiration. These events will showcase the latest culinary trends, and it also helps us be informed of the new flavors and ingredients and cooking techniques. I learn a lot at these shows. Sometimes we may not be cooking the stuff how the manufacturer intended it to be cooked. So that's one big thing for us. Product discovery, I find a lot of new products here to bring into our school district and taste test with the staff and students, which is one of the most important things. Sometimes things that I think tastes good, it may not be an acceptable product for the students. Their tastes are a little different than ours. So bringing that in and testing it with your students before you have it placed either on a bid, if you're in a co-op, or on your menu, it is really important. This year especially, the ISNA has asked that the vendors showcase our USDA foods, so our further processed foods, which will be a great advantage because on the advisory council, we are tasked with determining which products, manufacturers that we're going to have agreements with and which products we're going to further process. So that'll be really important for us to get your feedback, those that will be attending the show on those products to see if it's something that we want to bring in or not. And then I've been on the ACTA board and processing committee for a few years now. And one thing that I've had a takeaway from working with the manufacturers and processors and brokers is that this is a great opportunity for all of our vendors to come together at a show where we're all going to be and show us all the products that they have. There may be some products that they don't bring out, but this is a huge cost savings that in the long run really does get passed down to either the co-ops or the school districts that purchase these products by not having them run around to each of our school districts to bring out these products. I know they love to do that. The brokers will always say they love to do that. But just from multiple times I've heard at the ACTA board meetings and and with the manufacturers and in processing, that it is definitely a cost to us, basically, is who it's a cost to. And another thing is like all ISNA sponsored events, there will be sessions and demonstrations and opportunities for learning from the experts in the field. So those are always great to attend. And last but not least, my favorite part of the shows is the networking opportunities, networking with our industry and also my fellow child nutrition colleagues. So it just really helps to foster relationships and, to where we're able to get a lot of information from one another and share that information. So those were some of my key points. The Fall Expo is happening on November 7th. It's from 8 to 3. The food show is from 12 to 3. And it is free. And there's a banquet the night before. And that banquet is as a cost of $60 for members and $75 for non-members. And you'll want to sign up on the ISNA website. And if I have forgotten anything, or I'm not really involved in doing these shows anymore, but just wanted to kind of share what I felt was key benefits of attending the show. But if I forgot anything, maybe one of the ISNA members can jump in and let us know anything else we need to know. Thanks, Pamela.
Get myself unmuted. Thanks, Teresa. I've asked in the chat who might be going. And also if this is the town hall time. So do people on the call have experience with taste tests? Not only at the food show, but in your school, does it help? Do you have like a group in your school that does the taste test for you? How does it look at your schools as well?
I can explain how it's done in our school districts. We do bring in a group of students that do taste testing any new products that we have, or we have opened it up to doing those taste tests during lunchtime to where everybody is able to be involved in that as well. So it just kind of depends on how many products that we're taste testing. Whether it's a smaller group of students or just the whole school district who gets to give us the feedback. We also do surveys, so we will test quite a few products and then send out a survey, or also just have those items for lunch and do a survey to where the kids can let us know what they're looking for, what they like, what they don't like, and what we need to change.
And Teresa, do you find, does it give them buy-in? Basically, does it increase your participation numbers? Do they find like are they advocates for the program once they've participated?
Yeah, we do find that. We find that they obviously have picked those products, so they're excited when they're brought in. A big one for us this year was the ProView chicken bites. They just absolutely love those. They're a little pricey, but we were able to work it in to make it work in our menus. So yeah, I do see that they do have buy-in, and participation does increase because of that.
Awesome.
Teresa, this is Kat. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great. But correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't I hear at ACTA last year that the vendors say, or the processors say, they love that taste testing happens, but that you should be paying for your samples? Don't expect the vendor to just go ahead and send them to you for free.
That is correct.
Okay.
I think participating at the food show is a way to narrow down your options, though. If what you think your kids are going to like when you're at the food show, and you think your kids are going to like something, then isn't that a good way to like find out what samples then you would order for your school to taste test? Is that how it works?
Yes, that would be correct.
Super. We have let's see. I guess what's the process for getting product for taste testing? Is a chat that we have question from the chat.
You are able to get them either through the broker. We'll send them through whichever vendor you are using for your distribution, or you can order them directly through distribution.
Perfect. And if people have questions, can they reach out to you, Teresa,
Sure.
or somebody? Do you
Always,
want? Okay,
always willing to help.
you're doing great. Any chance you could? Can you put your email in the chat? And folks can see you on the advisory council list that's available on the state agency website too. Thank you so much. If there aren't any other, I don't see any other questions in the chat. Christy, do you have anything about taste tests in McCall? You can come off mute.
We are actually, I'm getting ready to get that set up with me being a new director. I'm just trying to get a grip on this whole thing. I'm learning it all by myself for the most part. The former director wasn't around for me to get much training from. So it is definitely something that came up just recently, and I'm having a meeting with all of my head cooks slash site managers and talking about maybe trying to get that done.
Oh, that sounds great. Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm trying to do some changes and get things more organized and get the kids more involved in their lunch program.
Teresa says, reach out if you need help. For sure.
Thank you very much. I will. So,
Well, thanks, you guys. This is what the town hall time is all about. And here's a slide about what else is going on at the Fall Food Expo. So I think with that, we'll let Teresa go. And next we have Dina Benson from Dairy West is here to tell us about virtual farm tours and other resources from Dairy West.
Thanks, Pam.
Yeah, take it away.
So first of all, I just want to tell you, kind of show you through this slide, the best way to be able to access our resources. So on our website, dairywest.com, up in the far right-hand corner, you'll see an area called the Partner Portal. That is for you. And once you click on that partner portal, you'll be listed. There will be some resources listed there that you can access. So I encourage all of you to get on that website, figure out what there is for you, what resources, our grants are there, our Strive for 35 trainings, our food photography course. There's so many things that are there. Today, I'm going to talk about our virtual farm tours because it's Farm to School Month. So you'll see at the bottom under K through 12 education resources, there is a Farm to School tab that you can click on it. If you want to go to the next slide. On this one, you'll see a section called Virtual Dairy Farm Field Trip. These are, you can do it two ways. We have some recorded ones that you can access anytime that you can get on there and watch the tour that the kids have gone on in the past. You'll see there's several different options and subjects available to you there. We also have ones that are coming up in the future that will be listed on there. You can sign up for if you'd like to join those. So these are great. Awesome to play during lunchtime while you're featuring your October Farm to School Month. Also, the education piece, if you share these with your staff, is really awesome. Just learning what happens from the very first moment, the care of the cow and everything that happens there, all the way until that milk is in your milk coolers at school. You can find out all of those things and learn about that journey. One other resource that we have that's underneath this K through 12 resources is stacking up milk and milk substitutes. So if you ever have a question on, what is the difference between milk and plant-based alternatives? What is the nutrition differences? What are the pros and cons of each one? There's a really great video there that can help you to be able to understand that as well. So please reach out, please get signed up for those, access them anytime, bookmark this on your internet sites so that you can access it anytime. Do you want to go to the next slide? Under this one also, we're going to take you right through that same route through the partner portal. And then on the top side of where you saw the K through 12 education, you'll see school nutrition. There are so many different opportunities there. And when we have new opportunities, they will be listed there. Our most recent one is our legendary drops. When we're talking about taste testing, there's some really great resources for taste testing and new recipes there. If you're interested, please reach out. There's downloadable files there for you to just access. Next slide. I'm really excited to announce that we are sponsoring a new school nutrition Facebook group. This is called Dairy West School Nutrition Professionals. This just gives you all a place to be able to interact with each other. The whole purpose and point is to give you a place where you can locally put a question out there, like, what are you guys doing with your commodity chicken this year? How are you addressing added sugars? Who has a great new recipe? All of these things you can get in there and chat with your colleagues to be able to get some answers. And also Dairy West will be adding some new recipes, new opportunities as we go out throughout the time to manage the backside of this one. But really the whole purpose of this is to be able to get you guys to interact with each other and give you this place, this forum to be able to have those conversations in a protected way. So the QR code there, if you want to get on there and follow that QR code, you will be able to be asked 3 different questions so that we can keep our group with just our school nutrition professionals. And then once you get approved and on there, invite all your school nutrition friends. This is going to work best when we have all of our school nutrition friends on there to be able to work together with. So excited about that. If you have any questions, need any other resources, please reach out to me. I'm always available. And hopefully I will see so many of you tomorrow at our Elevate conference that's coming up tomorrow. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you so much, Dina. It was great to have you. And folks, yeah, if you have any questions, here's Dina's email, reach out and go ahead and schedule time to, well, let your teachers know too that the virtual farm tours are available and how to get there. And hopefully that'll be entertaining and educational all at the same time. Thanks so much. Okay, so next we're going to talk about verification, and Melissa is going to lead us through this. Melissa, your turn. Ah,
Pamela,
yeah.
this is Dominique. We're doing a switch on headphones, so just stand by one moment and Melissa will be right on.
Okay, great.
Thanks. Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good
My
morning.
headphones seem to decide to go working. So I'm just gonna wing this. It is basically phase 2 of verification. You should be well on your way to getting this done. So now you should be reaching out to anybody who has not responded and reminding them that they need to respond or they're gonna lose benefits. Um, after you have done that, if everybody responds or you find out that people aren't going to respond, verification will open on the 31st. And if you're ready, the report will open up on the 31st. Be ready at that point. You've got everything in line. You can start reporting there at that time. So as of the 31st, you want to make sure that got all counts of students. So October 1st is a count of applications. October 31st is a count of students. It does different timelines for different things there. So it gets a little confusing. But so you'll need a count of directly certified kids for SNAP, directly certified to other programs, all the other programs. Income eligible free on the applications, income eligible reduced, and categorically eligible plus your enrollment, all those student eligible need. Additionally, the state agency will reach out to you to get your count of Medicaid free and Medicaid reduced students, and then SNAP. For those of you who do CEP programs, that kind of thing, SNAP, that kind of information. That'll be via email. Any response will be via email. Everything is due by the 15th. Terminate benefits for those who don't respond by the 10th. To get everything in gear. That's pretty much it. I'll be in contact. Hopefully you got an email from me. But not those in CEP, those you'll get an email later at the end of the month. Anyway, any questions?
Let's see, Melissa, in the chat, there's a question. If the family has already responded that they will not provide documentation, do we cancel the benefits already? Their benefits.
So you still have to give them the 10 days notice. And so as of basically the date that they tell you that, then yes, you send a letter to them 10 days, it's 10 calendar days that their benefits end. So if you haven't done that, go ahead and do that now. And then that does count towards response for verification. If they told you they're not going to respond. Anything else?
So
I
thank
will,
you for
when I
the
get back to my
clarification.
desk. Oh, what's that?
I said, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, I see that. When I get back to my desk, I will, I'll stick my email in the chat as well. You should all have it hopefully, but I'll put it there. If you have any questions, then let me know.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thanks.
Next, I had a message about direct certification. It was discovered last week that we've not been getting new data for foster and Medicaid from DHW for the direct certification process. It's been going on for most of August and September. We figured out the problem and it's now been fixed. And our goal was to ensure the data was fully up to date by the close of business last Thursday. That would result in the probability that districts could see an uptick in their next direct certification upload or download. And the Medicaid free and reduced students that are newly matched are not eligible for backdating in order to reverse meal charges. We don't know, we don't get the date that they were approved, so backdating is not an option. If you have questions on that, you can go to Jax or Melissa for Linda or Linda. So I just wanted to get that out there. And now we're going to talk about Smart Snacks. Jax, do you want to take this away?
Yeah, I can jump in.
Thanks.
So with this, we just want to remind you where you guys can find guidance on Smart Snacks. As we start doing reviews throughout the year, there's a lot of Smart Snacks questions that come up. But for those of you that aren't receiving an administrative review, we want to make sure that you guys have the resources available so you can provide them to your administrations and whatnot. If there's any questions that come up with Smart Snacks in school, any food or beverage that's specifically sold to students at schools during the school days need to be Smart Snack compliant. One thing I want to highlight is that sold word there, because a lot of times we get questions about whether or not a teacher providing let's say like lollipops or like a little bit of candy for free in a classroom constitutes Smart Snack. Since it's not being sold, it's not something that needs to be necessarily looked at from a Smart Snacks angle, but you guys might have something in your local school wellness policy that does address that. So if you have any questions with that, you might want to confer with your wellness policy as well. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, and also make sure that all fundraisers are being tracked throughout the school year. If you guys have any questions on where you can find some non-food fundraisers, please feel free to reach out. We have some examples that we can provide to you.
Thank you, Jax. Oh. I'm back. Celebrating Farm to School Month. Yay, this is my time. We had the governor proclaimed October as Farm to School Month in Idaho. And the Nationals Farm to School Network has, October as Farm to School Network, Farm to School Month, but by having the governor proclaim it as Farm to School Month in Idaho, it opens up a whole new area of focus and education and attention, basically. You can read this on the proclamation on our website. And yes, part of the celebration yesterday was Idaho's inaugural Crunch Day event. And so I'm interested if you guys celebrated. Was there a synchronous crunch in your school? If so, send your pictures in and also post them to hashtag Idaho Crunch, and share out with everything that you guys did. Please help me improve the event for next year for sure. What's in season? We still have lots of things that are available. Of course, with pumpkins and squash and onions and grapes. Enjoy those while they last, because as you can tell, it's about to drop off with the fresh fruit and vegetables. Um, our break room has so much spaghetti squash. Somebody cleared out their field, and so we're having tons of spaghetti squash around here. Although we still get occasional grapes, and cucumbers are pretty much done, but we did have some tomatoes. Are you guys having lots of fresh local produce in your salad bars? How's your accessibility to that? I'm curious as to how the local food served today section on your new cafeteria posters is working. So please reach out, let me know. And it's also National School Lunch Week. Charlotte Pettengill at American Heritage Charter School sent in these pictures. She said her school loved seeing their decorations and costumes. They served Davy Jones waffle and grub, eye patch eggs, scallywag sausage, fruit booty. They had a salad bar plank and arg milk. However you celebrate, please take pictures and we'll share them in November. Let's see, that's all I had for you guys. Now we have some reminders, and Jax is going to come back for this.
So with civil rights, we want to make sure that you're just aware, since we're still near the beginning of the school year, that your non-discrimination statement is readily available on your district website, as well as on any letter templates, specifically ones that are being sent home with regards to benefit documentation. So for any of your DC notification letter templates, for any ones saying that they've been denied or that they've been approved, make sure that those all have the long statement. And as well, make sure that your menus at the very least have the short statement, which is this institution is an equal opportunity provider. Make sure that you have updated all of your civil rights logs. So make sure that you have one for the new year, and that the one from the previous year, if there were no complaints, that you're writing no complaints across it. And also make sure that everyone in your school that is applicable, so your kitchen staff, is up to date on all civil rights trainings, because that is something that you want to make sure that is done yearly. And we also want to make sure that everything is up to date with your hazard analysis and critical control points plan, your HACCP plan. Some of you might just call it a food safety plan. You want to make sure that this is up to date and that it includes all of the standard operating procedures that are required by the NSLP program. One thing to keep a lookout for is a bodily fluid cleanup standard operating procedure. We still find some that are outdated and don't have the standard operating procedure included. But if you are looking for a sample one, the Institute of Child Nutrition, ICN, has great resources for updating that. That's what we usually refer people to, because it at least gives you a jumping off point when you are rewriting standard operating procedures in a HACCP plan. And make sure that you are double checking your HACCP plan every year just to make sure that it's still applicable for the school.
Jax, in the chat, we also had a couple of questions about going back to Smart Snacks.
Yeah, so I answered one of them. So one of the questions was, are Smart Snacks regulations communicated with administrators at any of their trainings? And I had answered, yeah, Smart Snack regulations are covered at the superintendent trainings that are provided by the Idaho Department of Education. We try to do this to make sure that we're getting the information to them to hopefully prompt them to come and ask you guys questions, or to look into their own schools, so that you guys don't have to go to them necessarily. It's supposed to make sure that they're aware of it in addition to anything that you guys are providing.
Awesome, thank you.
Mhm.
And next up, we have Kat with USDA Foods.
Hi, everybody. You're probably used to hearing me talk about procurement, which I will still be talking about procurement because I'm still doing those reviews. So please be patient with me. All right. So a couple of things that we talked about with Gold Star. If you have not watched these trainings that Edith sent out for our single bank and the advertisement posting, please look at these links on YouTube. This is a training that they did, and it's very informative, and it will show you how you can go in there and take items off the advertisement board, how you can post items on the advertisement board. Please just remember that if you take something from the advertisement board, it's yours. You cannot repost it later. And the single bank training, the reason we're doing this one again is because we're having a lot of raw products still left in the banks and people aren't claiming their pounds. And it gets more detrimental as we get farther along into the year trying to use up those pounds. There are some open banks that you can go into, even if you did not order, raw product to be sent to a processor, you can go in and use the open banks. One of the ones that is open right now that has a lot of pork in it is JTM for the pork meatballs. So if you're running low on entitlement, you might want to go in there and look at that to see if that's something that you can use. Next slide, please, Pamela. So your pounds must be used. If you ordered pounds, please make sure you're using them. You can check the balances in Gold Star on K-12 and Processor Link. Gold Star, it's a really nice feature when you open up, log in and open up and go to your dashboard. It'll automatically roll down to you what the pounds are, how many pounds you've ordered. You can check that. There's little graphs that show you how much of your entitlement you've spent, how much you still have left for processing, and also for direct delivery. And the links I gave you before will show you all that information and how to find that out. And so Edith sent out a spreadsheet at the beginning of the year letting you all know which banks were open. Open just means that anyone can take the pounds. If it's a closed bank, then that bank is only for schools that sent product to that processor. But if we can't start moving pounds, then we may go ahead and open up more banks. So we'll keep you posted on that. And then if we do that and we open the banks and you haven't been using your product, it's a first come, first serve. So make sure if you ordered those pounds, please go in and take them. Go ahead and use them. And if you can't, and we have to open the bank up, you may lose out if you sent pounds by not using them and we open the bank, then other people can go in there and take those. So if you have any questions about that or about the trainings, let us know. We're here to help. I am not going to say I'm new to the position. I'm new as a coordinator. I worked with TJ quite a few years on USDA Foods, so I do know most things, but not everything. So please present your questions and that will help me learn and it'll help me help you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Kat. Let me.
Yes, today I am Kat.
Kat, yes. All the days. Professional standards. I think Jack said he was going to come back for this one. Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
It's the last
Thank
time I'll jump in, I swear.
No worries.
So with professional standards, they come from the final rule that became effective on July 1st of 2015. Professional standards are intended to ensure that state and local school nutrition program personnel in the national school lunch and school breakfast programs have the knowledge and skills to manage and operate the program correctly and successfully. So this establishes based on whether they're part-time, full-time, a kitchen manager, for all the directors out there, specific training hours that have to be completed and specific trainings within that related to program operations and position activities. So for example, if you're working in a kitchen, you should have annual food safety training. Everyone that is dealing with getting kids the meals that are being served should be having some sort of civil rights training. And when I say some sort of civil rights training, I mean our civil rights training. And then also we need to make sure that they're getting the hours that they need. So if you're implementing offer versus serve, you should have offer versus serve breakfast and offer versus serve lunch training implemented there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, but make sure that you are tracking these throughout the year, as if you leave it for the end of the year, sometimes it gets backed up and then you have to chase all your staff to make sure that they are in fact meeting their hours.
Thanks, Jax. Next up, we have Mary Ann to tell us about summer foods.
Thanks, Pamela. Awesome. If you want to go to the next slide. Perfect. So thanks everyone. I wanted to just provide a huge highlight for our summer food operation this past summer, 2024. As many, if not all of you guys are aware, we implemented a new meal service operation called the Rural Non-Congregate Meal Service, and it made a huge difference. And I am so giddy, as you can probably tell with my voice, I'm so giddy on how it turned out this summer that I really wanted to share some data to really highlight what our sponsors did this summer who operated the Rural Non-Congregate, and also the rest of the sponsors. And hopefully this would encourage other sponsors who've never operated the summer food program before, who may consider operating the program because it was such a huge success. We reached more children, we distributed more meals, and overall, I felt that it was such a huge increase in program participation. So as you guys can see in your slide, I put some numbers from the last 2 summers. So in summer 2023, you guys can see we operated the congregate meal service. We had 70 sponsors that operated 250 summer meal sites, and we served a total of 742,000 meals across the state, for sites that operated from June through August. So of course, there's some sponsors that only operated for the month of June, maybe only for July, and then there are some sponsors that operated through the whole entire summer months. And then on the right side of your slide, in summer 2024, it was our first year implementing the Rural Non-Congregate Meal Service. We had 72 sponsors who operated or who participated in the summer food operation. And we had 262 summer meal sites. 77 of those were the Rural Non-Congregate summer meal sites. And overall, we served, 921,000 meals across the state, about 24% up from last year. And I broke it down by meals. And so as you guys can see, in the under the breakfast meal service number in 2023, for the state of Idaho, we only served 116,319 breakfast meals. But as you guys can see, we almost doubled that number. And so really a huge success this summer. And I wanted to highlight that. Next slide, Pamela. And another slide that you guys see on in your computer is that, again, the reimbursement numbers. I know that we hear all the time that sponsors who operate the summer food program, it's really a way for them to recuperate some of the reimbursement funding back to their general funds, because as our program sponsors know, you guys under the program, under the summer food, you do not need to collect free and reduced application. There's no enrollment numbers. Really, any children ages 1 through 18 can come to your site, receive a free meal, and for every meal that you serve, you receive a reimbursement. So back in 2023, in the congregate meal service operation, the reimbursement for the whole state of Idaho was a little over 2.4 million. In 2024, it did increase up for the congregate meal service at about $2.5 million of reimbursement. But for our non-congregate meal service operations, we are, gosh, in 2023, we were just a little over $780,000 reimbursement for the whole state. And in 2024, that jumped to 1.6 million reimbursement that went out to our rural non-congregate sponsors. And we saw a huge spike for each sponsors who participated in the non-congregate meal service. Gosh, I had one particular sponsor the past couple of summers, so in 2022 and in 2023, their reimbursement numbers were less than 8,000 for the whole entire summer. And in 2024, their reimbursement was over $42,000. So that was an increase of 452% of reimbursement from their previous year. And that is incorporating a meal service of breakfast and lunch in one distribution at each of their meal sites that they operated. Other sponsors that I saw when I looked at the data this year, one particular sponsor did not operate in 2022. They were back again in 2023. Their reimbursement was less than 20,000, but their reimbursement in 2024 was close to 80,000. So again, expansion of their summer meal site and incorporating the distribution of 2 meals in one distribution really helped out. Again, providing those meals to kids, reaching more children, and increasing the reimbursement number. And so next slide. Oh, thank you, Pamela. So as you guys can see, these are just some of the breakdowns that I have of the sponsors that participated and their increased percentage of reimbursement from 2023. And so again, we saw really, really great numbers. And so hopefully this is a great, some great information to hopefully put some interest, maybe plant some seed to other SFAs who've never operated the summer food program or who operated last year but didn't participate in the rural non-congregate, if this is something that you guys may be interested in. I am looking at training dates, information about rural non-congregate, distributing those information for summer 2025. So if you are interested, again, can't say it enough, please reach out to the state agency. And then for the sponsors who did operate the rural non-congregate this summer, I'm already hearing that a lot of our sponsors are already thinking for next summer and how they can expand the rural non-congregate operation. So that is that just makes me so happy and so giddy. And so I really look forward to how we can take this new meal service operation and really, really expand it in a way to where we can reach every children who are experiencing food insecurity during the summer months and making sure that they are ready for fall to learn and be active and be healthy. So again, if you guys have any questions at all, please reach out to the summer food team here at the state agency. Thanks, everyone. That's it for me, Pamela.
Yay, thank you so much, Marianne. That's great information. So we're about at the end. Our next webinar is going to be November 20th, 2024. And here's the calendar. I put the ISNA Fall Food Show, Thursday the 7th. Our next webinar is the 20th. You have your claims and your verification report and update your professional logs. And look at that, Thanksgiving is right there. So get ready for the holidays. Isn't that scary? Here's our USTA non-discrimination statement. And one other staff notice that Sharon, who was our administrative assistant, is now our program specialist. This position was created when Kat went into the USDA Foods Coordinator position, and Sean became the financial specialist. So Sharon is our program specialist, and now our administrative assistant position is vacant. So you can still reach out to us. Of course, we're still here, but now we'll be looking for an administrative assistant. And thanks you guys for joining. That's all we have. I just had one more note on Jen Butler. For those who are curious about the amazing person that Jennifer Butler was, here's some information on her memorial. You can go to bowmanfuneral.com and look up her obituary. So it's her celebration of life is coming up soon in November. So if you have a minute, you can go and make a comment on what an incredible person she is and read others too. So that's all I have for you guys. Thanks for joining us, and we'll give you back 10 minutes. Take care.
Bye, everyone.